Hi and welcome along to the AFTV Tactical Insight Show. Graham is back. Huddersfield at the weekend. I thought to myself, we'll be discussing the ease in which we won the game. I think, you know what, I was arguing with my brother about this, right? He was saying to me, he didn't go to the game and he's saying, it seemed like Arsenal were just hanging on. I don't think we were hanging on. We kind of got a 2-0 and we was just sort of just after that just tried to manage the game.
Would you like another 10 minutes?
No, I wouldn't have liked another 10 minutes. But they didn't score their goal until the 3rd minute of injury time. And we, in general, had them under control. But I just think that where people were a bit annoyed is Huddersfield. And we didn't keep a clean sheet. And then people are thinking to themselves, you know, come on, man, we should put in 4 or 5 passing, which ain't always going to be the case, especially away from home against a team that's fighting for their lives and for pride, I think. When they came out in the second half, you could see that they wanted to, you know, losing 2-0, pride. Their manager obviously said to them, come on, man, give these fans, who are excellent, by the way, they're fans, give them something to shout about. So, however, it's still not that fluent. No. You know, especially you see Man City, the way they just destroyed Chelsea, how Liverpool have been playing. You know, even sometimes our Spurs have been playing this season. We haven't been at our fluent best, have we? And I know you wanted to highlight what you think is the lack of creativity, the lack of players doing the jobs that you think the manager wants.
Well, I think he's, Robbie, I think the first thing to say is I think he's hampered by injuries. We can't ignore that.
Yeah.
I think he's hampered by a lack of investment. We haven't got the physicality in our midfield that, say, Liverpool have got. And we haven't got the pace in wide areas that, say, Manchester City have got. So we are where we are. He's inherited a very unbalanced side. And I think there's 2 things I wanted to say today. I want to talk about, first of all, before I go into the Huddersfield game, I think 6-7 months into Emery's reign, I think there's a clear lack of identity in the way how the team is at the moment. You know, he's made 8 different formation changes during the season, and he's struggling to get the right balance. He's worried about our defence so much that he's over-conservative. And I think we went to Huddersfield to play against a team on Saturday who basically have been re-energised by a new manager. Now, whatever you say about Huddersfield, they pressed us really high during the game and they were full of energy. They lacked clinical strikers, which obviously was one of the reasons why we weren't, you know, we were able to cope with them on Saturday, I have to say. So I think one of the reasons he went with this 3-4-2-1 formation was basically because he's worried about the defence, that we can't defend. So, and obviously he's got injuries. He's got no Socrates, no Bellerin and no Holding. So, and he's pretty much sort of like putting the defenders out there he can put out there. What concerned me on Saturday was I think that the reasons why we struggled to play out through the press that I want to look at, and the way we kept putting ourselves under pressure by losing the ball in the middle third. So I think there's, I've highlighted it as a lack of control in the middle third. I think we lack real creativity in the middle of the park. Somebody who can tidy up the possession and play the ball through the thirds, right?
Ozil.
I
know Ozil was apparently he was ill.
He was ill.
So he was unable to. But it still seems a mystery that you know.
I think that he went with a 3-4-2-1. So obviously, like, and I'll talk about it in detail here. Mustafi, Koscielny and Monreal were the 3 he went with as our 3 centre halves, and then he played our 2 wing backs, Maitland-Niles on the right, Kolasinac on the left, and it seems to me the whole team is set up to take advantage of what Kolasinac offers to the side, Robbie. And then he's got Carragher and Guendouzi as a middle pair, which I don't think is a bad middle pair. But I think one thing personally was missing, and we berate him for his errors, but Granit Xhaka does give good control to the middle of the park with his passing. Why are you laughing?
I don't know, man.
The one you can
listen, I think with Xhaka, for me, he's an experienced player. So he keeps his position well. And I know that him and Torreira have formed a decent enough partnership. He still, though, makes too many errors.
But his pass completion rate is 80-90%. Now, look what you had on Saturday. I've highlighted here some of the pass completion rates. Now, Mustafi, 68%. Now, a defender should be averaging around 90% pass completion rate.
Because a lot of your passes are just to the player right in front of you.
Exactly.
But he was getting the ball in that game.
Yeah.
And he was just hoofing it down the field. He did that a lot of times because he doesn't have the ball control to get himself out of trouble. So then he'll just hit it long, just get out of trouble. There was about twice, I think, where he just hit it straight out of touch, under no pressure.
Yeah, well, I just think there's a lack of confidence in Mustafi.
The German international used to be a German.
He's won the World Cup, hasn't he? But in this system, when you play three at the back, you want your two wide centre halves to be comfortable in possession to be able to play out.
He's not,
is he? So Holding is really good. Was it really good early in the season? Mustafi isn't that central defender who can play out wide, and he was the one who was bringing the ball out and struggling. We're too ponderous at the back. When we get it from Leno, it's so slow, too ponderous. You need to move the ball quickly through the thirds into the midfield. And as a result of that, I think we struggled to play out through the press. They were pressing us high right from the start. They were full of energy. Obviously working hard for the new manager, and our defenders are just not good enough. And to be fair, Pep Guardiola, when he went in at Man City, had the same sort of problems with the defenders he had, but he had rich backing from the Arabs.
Yeah, because what he basically did, he had a similar situation to this, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, Ozil was Yaya Toure for him.
Yeah.
A player that, the fans loved him and that, but he didn't fancy him, and he was able to. He weren't really playing him. He was able to get rid of him the next year, and then he had the wing backs that just couldn't play wing back, didn't he? He had the same sort of problems. Yeah, and but
I agree. So
he had the investment.
He's got the investment. Yeah. So when you're playing the three at the back, you do need ball playing centre halves. Chelsea got like David Luiz, for example. I know we won't go into yesterday's performance, but they have got David Luiz excellent on the ball. So we haven't got what I would call really, apart from Holding, whose stock is rising every week. He doesn't play, it seems to me, but he's the one player who can play out through the back. Mustafi's not very good at that. 68% pass completion rate. And then look at our two wing backs here, and I've highlighted here another crucial part of why we struggled on Saturday, and that was our wing backs kept losing the ball. They kept losing the ball in the middle third. Now, obviously, Emery wants them in the system because what they provide out wide. But if you're losing the ball in the middle third, you're putting pressure back on your defence. And Nathan Niles completed only 13 out of his 22 passes in the middle third, and Kolasinac less than 50% or just over 50%. 11 out of 21.
Both of them.
So they kept losing the ball, Rob, in the middle third. So it kept coming back towards us. And Carragher was having, and Guendouzi, if you watch the game, kept having to split out wide to actually.
He was wide a lot.
He was wide because he was having to cover when Kolasinac was giving the ball away. So that was a key problem on Saturday that Huddersfield took advantage of. Carragher's pass completion rate, which has been good this year, was down to 64. So we struggled in the midfield. We struggled as a lack of control in the middle third. Now. Whether we would have had that with Xhaka, maybe even Ramsey if he had played deeper, because the one thing these two players offer us is they do hold on to the ball. So, but the system, it was all about the system. The fact that these two wing backs were not good enough.
I mean, Kolasinac's put in a good cross for the goal.
They both created our two goals. So that's the advantage of the system. Maitland-Niles was involved in the first goal. For the second goal.
Yeah, he did brilliantly.
And Kolasinac, a superb cross for Iwobi's opener. So that's what they brought to the team, and
they're only doing 50% of their job.
But
because the other part of your job is defending and keeping it tight.
Yeah, so that was a problem I thought we had on Saturday. First half, though, I thought that the best thing about the team. He changed it around with the one striker on Saturday because of Aubameyang's illness.
Was ill as
well. The advantage of Lacazette as a lone striker is he brings the wide forwards into play. You've got more balance in wide areas. So we were more purposeful and direct with these two players, Iwobi and Mkhitaryan, in the wide areas, coming central to get the ball, and that creating the space for the wing back. So that was the advantage of the system. And in that first half, after we rode a bit of early pressure, we started to make our names in the game and got our two goals. So the first half went pretty much, I think Emery would have been fairly satisfied at half time. So we were 2 up in control of the game. But second half, it all changed, didn't it?
Yeah. And 62%, what's that?
That is Iwobi's pass completion. Now, it should be higher. Now, he is very much a risk-free reward player. And I've highlighted here, if you step back there, Robbie, Iwobi seemed to sum Arsenal up on Saturday. First half, he was very direct, purposeful. He had a goal. He had another goal chalked off for offside, and he had a key
great finish, by the way.
It was, and a key pass as well. He was very good in the first half.
Yeah, he was causing them a lot of trouble.
He was. Now, a risk-free reward.
Second half though.
A risk-free reward player, Robbie, is always going to lose the ball.
Yeah.
You have to accept that he's trying to make.
Is this where the fans though need to be a bit, because I was a bit disheartened with some of the fans.
Yeah.
Their reaction, like when he got subbed off.
Yeah.
And he did have a bad second half, but he wasn't the worst player. I think Iwobi needs to be more clinical. We know that. And in the second half, there was 2 opportunities. One where he could have passed it, where he went for goal, got it horribly wrong. I think there was one like that in the first half as well. His end product, and he said himself, he needs to work on. But I was watching that game as a whole, and he was the player that was causing the most problems. I bet if I spoke to a Huddersfield fan, they would have said, "Wow, Iwobi." And I think we have to remember that, like you said, he is a risk v reward player. And those sort of players give, if you're asking a player, say, when you get the ball, take your man on. Defenders, you're not going to beat them every time, are you? You're going to, even my son in the football that he plays, they'll be saying to the kids, take a player on. It doesn't matter if you give it away, take that player on, take that player on, take that, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, if you ain't got somebody taking players on, it's very easy to defend.
Yeah, and he offers something.
Just set up a system.
He offers something in the team that we haven't got. So I think you are right. The other thing is, I think...
It does have to be more clinical.
And I saw Ian Wright actually quite rightly called it out. He was really upset with the fans. And I think the fans... I think that might have been something to do with the previous game. When he gave the goal away at Manchester City?
Yeah,
but so maybe that was in fans' minds when he,
I think fans sometimes, they always have that player they pick on.
Yeah.
And he seems to be that guy. And listen, I think he's been excellent this season.
He has. He's been our breakout player this season.
Yeah,
he's one of our own. He's come through the academy. Yeah. Let's get behind him.
Look at Sterling.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying he's on the same grade as Sterling, but when Sterling first sort of arrived on the scene, he got criticised a lot for not being clinical. He got criticised a lot for giving the ball away, trying to take on players, losing it. But look at him now. You've got to back these players,
Absolutely, he's come through the he's come through the academy and he's one of our own. So I think that, I think the fans should be patient with him, and I hate to see him getting that disrespect.
It's bad.
But assessing his performance, which I think we're entitled to do, he was very good in the first half.
Frustrating, wasn't it? Brilliant in the first half. Second half,
not so good.
No.
Overall, he lost the ball 10 times in the game, and he only combined for 3 dribbles. So I would say, probably an unbalanced performance, but he offers something in the team that we haven't got. So I think
needs to offer more.
He offers more.
Needs to offer more.
Can I just talk about the second goal?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was everything that Emery is trying to do in the team at the moment. I call it
Emery ball.
Emery ball.
Don't use that word, Emery ball, please. Right? The sorry ball, Emery. Please, no, I'm rubbing that out, man. Just put Emery. No, I don't want to get caught. We get memed up.
What it is this is everything that Emery wants in the team at the moment. It's wide forwards tucked inside when the ball is central, and the wide forwards are Iwobi coming inside, Mkhitaryan coming inside. The reason he does that, he wants to allow the freedom on the wing for the wing backs, and that's how we got our 2 goals. I've highlighted the second goal here because the ball comes to Mkhitaryan. These are the Huddersfield defenders. And there was another couple on this side who actually I missed out. But there was 3 players here, and they both got they all got attracted in to Mkhitaryan. Yeah. And that leaves the space on the outside for Maitland-Niles. Now Mkhitaryan receives the ball and he turns to play the ball out to Maitland-Niles, who now is in acres of space to deliver the cutback for Lacazette.
Great cross, by the way.
And Iwobi's coming in as well, and Kolasinac is coming in from the other side. So that is everything what Emery wants in our team at the moment, and the team, as I said, it seems to be set up very much for
two players,
for Kolasinac.
two wing backs doing their job in that instant.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the best things about the team.
Two players that come from our youth system having an effect on the game.
Well, that's what, and I think Kelechi put something out on Twitter about Maitland-Niles and Iwobi, for example, and I think the fans need to respect that these players have come through the academy. We need to get behind them.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Now, I talked about our lack of identity and what is our best 11 at the moment, and I know this is going to cause some debate, I think. I looked at the system, coming back to that pass completion rate, overall only 72% on Saturday.
Poor.
That should be...
Never used to see that under Wenger, really.
Mid-80s, really.
If Wenger's team was better passing,
definitely, absolutely. Right, I've called the video very much "What is our best 11?" And I've highlighted here an alternative 11 based on the formation that could have been chosen by Emery on Saturday, and it'd be interesting people in the comments if you want to sort of like...
Lichtstein.
Yeah.
What's he doing there?
Well, I've got to find a left-sided fullback. That's the weak part of the team. But if you look at the team generally, 3-4-2-1, Robbie, and albeit people are going to say Leno's probably the better keeper now than Cech. But if you look at essentially that 11, you tell me which is the more creative, which would have more control in the middle third, and which, if they were playing each other in a game, who would you think would have the stronger 11? Leno, Mustafi, Koscielny and Monreal. Cech, Socrates, Mavropanos and Holding, that's the back line. And then the wing backs, I've got Bellerin, Lichtstein, who's a weak link, but Bellerin, Maitland-Niles and Kolasinac. In the middle, Xhaka and Ramsey against Carragher and Guendouzi. Then up front, Ozil, Suarez and Aubameyang.
We are missing a lot of players. We have to remember that. There are a lot of players injured. You know, you could even throw Welbeck into that mix. You know,
yeah, of course,
he's been a big miss.
Yeah. So I'm just highlighting, I don't think at the moment he's got his identity on the team yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows what is his best 11 yet. He's struggling, as I said earlier, with that lack of investment and the injuries.
Got to give him time, haven't we?
We've got to give him time. And then people moan about the result or the performance on Saturday. At the end of the day, we came away with 3 points. And at the end of the day, that just says in the book that we beat Huddersfield 2-1.
Yeah, when you're looking what happened over the weekend, you know, I mean, the Spurs one yesterday drove me mad when... Jamie Vardy, you know, Leicester, you see, and again, that's the thing, it's all about 3 points, because watching that game, Leicester were a much better team, but Tottenham have got the 3 points, and they don't care about, you know, so it's the same with us. I mean, it wasn't a vintage performance, you know, it's just about the 3 points, and I know fans too well now. I mean, if we'd have won the game 5-0, every fan would have been saying, oh, it's just papering over the cracks. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, listen, it's all about the 3 points, and we've still got a chance of getting into the top 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what you realise, though, when you see the fact that we're not fluent, is that we're miles behind Man City. When you see the way they played yesterday, you see the players they've got, we're going to have to really put a lot of investment into the team. Jamie Carragher even yesterday talking about how, you know, Chelsea have turned it into the new Arsenal, he said. I mean, you know, which was a bit disrespectful by him, actually, when I thought about it, because, you know, although we have taken these batterings before in the past, and we at least, we didn't get one of them pasted like that against City.
Do you know what, Robbie? I was absolutely livid when I heard him say that. I think, as you say, it's really disrespectful to Arsenal Football Club. Very cheap punditry by Jamie Carragher. He basically called Chelsea defenders cowards, which I thought was really strong. And I think, when I think back in football over the last 12 months, in my opinion, the most cowardly thing associated with football is what Jamie Carragher did last year when he, in his car, spat at a fan, albeit provoked.
Graham's going in?
Yeah.
You're going in, Graham?
I just think that was so cowardly, and that to me is the epitome of cowardness. As a defender, he was no Franco Baresi or Bobby Moore, was he? The weaker, he called the Chelsea defenders weak. The weakest piece of defending I've ever seen watching football for 40 odd years was Liverpool at Highbury in 2004 when Henry ran around the whole team and Jamie Carragher fell on his arse. So the other thing with, well, I thought I'd get in before DT did.
Graham's going in.
And the thing is, Jamie Carragher is very privileged to sit in a Sky studio, and it was apparent yesterday that 3 Liverpool pundits were watching that Man City game, and it wasn't lost on me that I thought that they were watching the momentum shift back towards Man City in the title race, Robbie. And I think that the other 2 were quite respectful, but Jamie Carragher almost like took it personally. It's almost like he saw, you know, he was feeling it. He obviously maybe thought Chelsea might get some points off Man City, and he was like a fan yesterday, not a pundit. And I think that was so disrespectful. Now, the thing about Jamie Carragher is, just one final point on Jamie Carragher, is that last year, well, first of all, Man City took Liverpool apart last year 5-0 in a league game. Albeit Mane was sent off when they were down to 10, but they didn't have to crumble by 5. So Man City have got a history of taking teams apart when they're in the mood. So I think he should be more disrespectful, less disrespectful to Arsenal, and less disrespectful to Chelsea. He was part of a defence that won the Champions League, and it was in no small part due to him. He was part of the defence that leaked 3 goals in the first half against AC Milan, and they won it on penalties with Gerrard leading the comeback. But it wasn't no small thanks to Jamie Carragher's defending. So let's analyse some of the defensive things that he did in the game against Arsenal and the game against Milan, if we want to be, you know, really pedantic. But the other point is with Jamie Carragher. Now, he's been disrespectful to Arsenal for years. Now, I watched an interview on the pitch after the Leicester game 2 years ago with him and Gary Neville and Arsene Wenger. Now, him and Neville were very critical of the way Arsenal defend, and they were very critical in commentary on that night, because I watched it back. Yet, with Wenger on a table on the pitch at the end of the game, they had the perfect opportunity to lay into Wenger for the fact that we were totally unstructured at the back, that our full-backs were out of position all the time, that our defenders were being pulled out wide, our central defenders. Did Jamie Carragher take the opportunity to dig Wenger out about his team's lack of defensive cohesiveness? No, he did not. What he did was he praised him for the way he brought on the subs and won the game 4-3. So if anything was, if you want to talk about a guy who's basically weak and a coward, somebody who doesn't stand up for his principles, it's Jamie Carragher. He had the perfect opportunity on that night to actually have a dig at Wenger about this poor Arsenal defending that he goes on about all the time. I think it's disrespectful, Robbie, to actually bring Arsenal into the debate yesterday. And I think it was cheap. And I thought you saw a bloke there who basically still wearing his Liverpool hat when he's a pundit. And basically was seeing the momentum shift back towards Man City in the title race. So one thing you did really well a couple of years ago, you got Gary Neville on your channel, didn't you? To actually answer. Yeah. Can you do us a favour and get Jamie Carragher on?
I think he'd knock you out. He'd want to punch you.
He'd probably spit at me, wouldn't he?
Oh. You know what, Ryan? I'm going to end this video, right? Graham is like, he's on a mission today. Graham is going in, trust me. Listen, thanks. Graham, you surprised me. He shot me with this one. If you agree, if you agree with Graham's analysis,
can I just say that to Liverpool fans who are obviously going to now give me a thumbs down in this video, I've got a lot of
you are, yeah.
I've got a lot of stick. I've got a lot of respect for Liverpool, right? A lot of my friends are Liverpool fans, and I think the football they played this year has been fantastic. And they're making.
It's not going to save you.
But Jamie Carragher, to me, I was absolutely annoyed yesterday. And a great comment on Twitter was that if we're Chelsea are the new Arsenal, then Klopp, if he doesn't win a league title this year, will be turning Liverpool into Tottenham.
You know what, Ryan? Thanks for watching the show today. Graham's, was you going to say something else?
I was going to say something else, Robbie. Just one thing before we go, and that is a shout out to AD Webster, who sent me some details about how he would like to see his show put together in the future. And I'm looking at what he sent to us, and we'll have a look at that. So give him a shout out.
I only got a thought. They could get you on Monday Night Football with you and Jamie Carragher doing the heat maps and all that stuff.
I'd love that.
Listen, thanks for watching the show today. No show next week because we've got no game. Well, we got a game, Bate Borisov. Just quickly, actually, Bate Borisov, same team. It's going to more or less going to have to be in it, unless if Aubameyang is fit, then he comes back. Because we've got for that game, I think we got to go full pelt these games now. There's nobody, and we ain't got a game next weekend, so we've got to go just go for it.
The thing is, Robbie, this system doesn't make us defensively more solid, so maybe Carragher's right. but I would go back to that 4-4-2 diamond.
4-4-2 diamond,
which I love a diamond, and Lacazette and Aubameyang close together up front with somebody at the tip of the diamond and somebody at the base and two.
Maybe Ozil. Maybe Ozil. Wasn't it that against Bate Borisov he scored that great goal?
No, I don't think it was it?
Was it? No. I just love it. I just want to see
Lundesgretz or something like the team.
Oh, it's Ludogorets, yeah.
Ludogorets, yeah.
I want to see him back in the team, to be honest. But let's see what happens. Thanks for watching the show today. We're going to be back next week. Don't forget, leave your comments below.
No comments from Jamie Carragher.
Graham will be going through them. Right, so Liverpool fans, a bit busy, yeah? Thanks for watching the show.